what I know. Better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes. Call me aggressive with my flow. Call me offensive even though Joe, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right.
Yeehaw, soldiers, it's your boy, the Anime Sage, coming at you for another video, and this is What If Deku Had Diffusion Quirk Part 3. Well, the series is back with another part, so let's get it. Also, quick thank you to you guys for 8K. We are actually over 8K right now at like 8.25K right now, so that's huge positive for all of us, I guess. We are already 1/4 of the way to 9K, and then after that, 10K. I mean, I really want to hit 10K by the end of the year, so let's get there. Anyways, in terms of this week, you guys will get the usual in Hashira and Biju Part 6 on Wednesday, and of course, Half Uchiha Half Senju Part 9, I believe, on Friday. Tuesday or Thursday, you guys should get the vid I was going to release on Saturday, but workload kind of hurt me a little bit in Mjolnir Deku Part 8, so that's a positive as well. This will be a great week. Anyways, watch my community tab like a hawk for vid updates, polls, the ability to select what ifs you want to see for the week, and some more fun stuff in between. So yeah, watch my community tab like a hawk. Alright, time for some quick social media plugs. Twitter is at AnimeSage4, Instagram is anime_sage4, and of course, join my Discord server, which will be linked in the description. I'll give you all reasons to follow/join those at the end of the video, so watch until the end. Alright, time for the usual checklist. If you haven't seen the last part, the link to that will be in the description, and if you haven't seen the series at all, check out the playlist. With all that out of the way, let's get right into the story. Alright, so we now see Deku going up against the Nomu. Shigaraki is just mocking the boy as he believes that Deku cannot beat, well, the Nomu, the monster, you know. Deku fuses his metal with his body and gets ready for the fight ahead. Deku goes in for a kick, and the Nomu takes a hit. Deku thinks he got a direct hit, and the Nomu is kind of, damaged a little bit. The training has gone from All Might, and Mirio and Nada has done some wonders with his speed and power. Nomu then looks at Deku, and he doesn't seem to be affected by the hit. Deku then gets slammed back by Nomu, and he is taking a bit of damage. Deku kind of feels that his fusion state is barely holding up, and realizes that he cannot take another hit from Nomu. If he does, he will defuse. So Deku needs to find another way to take on the Nomu. Shigaraki then says, "Well, looks like you cannot take on the Nomu after all, even with that so-called fusion form. My Nomu is mindless, and he's also powerful. He will do my bidding, and I will use to destroy you and All Might." Deku is left in a bind right now. He doesn't know what he can do against the Nomu. Wait a minute, the Nomu is mindless? That's it! Deku can just fuse the Nomu itself because it is mindless. Alright, now it is time to get into fusions like this. So if animals or things with less than developed brains like Nomus, the form can last around 30 to 45 minutes versus the original 15 with a human form. This means Deku can fuse the Nomu for a decent amount of time. Deku though has to let the Nomu get close to him. This is also something that his training has given him, the ability to think outside the box more. Deku diffuses with the metal. Shigaraki then says, "Well, it looks like you have given up. Nomu, end the boy's life right now." The Nomu then charges right at Deku. Deku gets ready to attempt to fuse with the Nomu. Oshaku over the cliff is kind of terrified and wonders if Deku is crazy. Bakugo and company who are just riding with Tsuyu wonders what the heck Deku is doing. The Nomu gets ready to smack Deku, and then Deku ducks and then touches the Nomu. A flash of light occurs and everyone is blinded. After a light is over, Deku is in a Nomu Deku type form. He has his body, so his original Deku body, but he has his features of a Nomu. He does have purple hair at the top, though, of his exposed brain, so that's a positive. He also has his eyes, so that's also a good thing, I guess. Deku then looks at Shigaraki. Shigaraki then says, "Well, looks like it worked. I was diffused with this Nomu. You are all done, villains." Oshaku is amazed Deku came up with a plan like that, as is the rest of the class, including Bakugo. Shigaraki is just shocked. He would have never in a million years expect this kid to fuse with the Nomu. This kid is amazing, and he must be dealt with immediately. Nomu Deku goes after Shigaraki. Shigaraki needs to dodge this Nomu fused Deku. If he has the strength of that Nomu, it ain't gonna be good if Deku hits him. Shigaraki continues to dodge and feels like he needs to do something. Deku then lands a hit on Shigaraki, sending him back rolling to the ground, and Shigaraki took a lot of damage. Deku then feels something off with the fusion, almost like he can't hold on to this form either, but why? Then All Might appears. All Might comes in and sees whatever that bird exposed brain purple haired thing is. All Might asks what is going on. Deku then answers saying he is fused with a creature that was originally this little bird brain thing, and he's now, well, fused with it and has defeated villains with it. This definitely makes All Might very interested. Deku then looks at Shigaraki and also Kirogiri, who appears and says, "You two are done." However, just when he tries to make another step, Deku feels something wrong with his body. He then goes onto his knees, and a light flashes, and Deku's defused with Denomu. Deku is shocked that he defused with Denomu very quickly, especially since the fusion was last for, like 3 to 4 or 5 minutes. All Might has to think about what happened. Deku was doing well before, and he had maintained that form and a lot of other forms before, so what was different about this one? Deku was thinking about this as well, and then they both realized at the same time that maybe the form was a bit unstable, or that Deku could not maintain the form as long as he thought he could. Maybe the form had too much power. And they would be correct. Remember in Dragon Ball GT, how was the fusion of Gogeta when they battled Sin Shenron? Same logic here. I did say Deku could do a fusion for over 30 to 45 minutes with something with a less developed brain, but because he had never fused with something that powerful before, nor did he have comparable powers to the Nomu, the form was kind of unstable and had too much power for his quirk to maintain. Yikes. The Nomu then goes after Deku, and then All Might swoops in and saves him. All Might tells Deku, "You did good, kid. You did good. Let me handle this." All Might then decides to fight the Nomu, like in canon, and that goes around the same. Once Nomu is finished, Shigaraki and the rest of the league leave the area, and the heroes didn't even need to come in and stop the mess. Later on, the rest of the class are treated for any injuries and stuff they may have suffered along the way. Deku is right now kind of sad, and he just wonders if he could have done more, and he felt like he kind of failed. All Might in Small Might form comes over and sits next to Deku and talks to him for a bit. All Might says, "So, you're feeling down about today. Why? You did really well for somebody who's a freshman." "No, that's an understatement. You were excellent. You're able to turn a weapon that the League of Villains created against them, and you were able to injure their leader. I feel like that is something worth celebrating over." Deku looks up at All Might and says, "While that is all true, I couldn't maintain the form. Fusion itself was unstable because I never fused with something like that before, and while I did fight the League well, you still had to overexert yourself at the end of the day, and that might come back to bite you. And also at the end of the day, the villains got away." All Might looks down at Deku and says, "Well, all that is true. You can beat yourself up over that. You are a rising hero, but at the end of the day, you are still a student. You still have room to grow, so don't let it get to you. And at the end of the day, if I was going to go out, I would want to go out protecting my students, you, and of course, Mirio. It's the way of the hero. We need to protect those who need to be protected. I'm sure you understand that very well, do you, Yomadoriya?" Deku nods. All Might then says, "Is this really your first failure?" Deku then says, "No, my first failure was me not being able to control my quirk over the first couple of years. It was very hard because I would fuse a random object or a bug without really wanting to, All Might then says, "Well, what did you do with that failure?" Deku then smiles. "I allowed it to make me grow." "Thanks, All Might. I guess I felt like I had more responsibilities, especially being here at UA, and I had a lot more pressure on myself, especially since I'm a class rep." All Might then says, "Understandable. Just don't be too hard on yourself. While you do have more responsibilities, you shouldn't be too hard on yourself either, because that isn't going to help you either, especially since you have so much room to grow, You're a freshman, you're a student. You need to find a nice balance between those two." Deku smiles. "I know. Thanks, All Might." Then they both shake hands. Later on for the day, Deku goes and talks to Momo. Momo tells Deku she was very impressed with how he did against those villains. Deku then says, "I mean, you must have done pretty well yourself as well." Momo then says, "I mean, I did, but I don't think I was as good as you. You fused with that thing and took on the actual villains." Deku then says, "Hey, don't sell yourself short. You made an electric-proof blanket and you fought it off some of the goons of those villains. You did well yourself. We are in our first years of UA. This shouldn't be expected. Yet here we are. I guess we're special." Momo kind of blushes and is actually impressed with Deku at this point. He isn't necessarily cocky, he's very strong, and he's cute like a cinnamon roll, but he's also very handsome. He is definitely something, alright. What is she feeling right now? Love? No, it can't be. By the way, yes, the Aram is still happening. You guys voted for that, and I'm basing it off of something called Life of a Villainess. Something my boy Mike Law showed me, and that I am very interested in. Also a fanfic I read a bit as well. Not the one he sent me, but something else, and some other stuff as well. What is Life of Villainous, you ask? My advice, look up some videos about it. It's kind of interesting. And at the same time, my boy Deku has a very large thing, a 16 and 17 incher, so it's kind of necessary. Anyways, Momo wonders what is going on in Deku's mind as he is talking to him. Deku is looking at Momo, and he really likes her. However, he has also been liking other girls as well in Isekai no Chako. It is really hard to look at his options, but he wonders if Momo is the best option for him. I mean, they have talked for a bit and all this other stuff, but does he really like her, and does she really like him? They are staring at each other's eyes, and all they can see in each other is something that is attracting them to each other. They come a bit closer, and closer, and closer. And then, Midoriya, Yaoyorozu, how are my friends doing? Their moment is interrupted by none other than Tenya Ida. Ida then says, you both should be getting home by this point. Don't want your parents to be worried about you. Both Deku and Momo nod, and both are kinda peeved off a little bit, you know? Both ask this one question in their heads. Were we about to kiss? And the only answer they can come up with, based on how close they were to each other's faces, was a resounding yes. This definitely gives them something to think about. Deku and Momo would later head home. Alright, now it is time for the Sports Festival arc. Deku and company hear about the Sports Festival, and all of them are pumped up by quite a bit. However, as you can guess, nobody is more pumped than, of course, Ochako or Uraraka. Ochako seems to be more amped than usual, and Deku wonders what is going on right now. Deku, Ida, and Momo later go to Ochako and ask her what's up. Ochako then talks about her struggles growing up and how she wants to give a life for her parents. She says that her goals must be pretty horrible, as they're kind of selfish in her opinion, but there's nothing wrong with that, as Ida points out, as all she's trying to do is give her parents a better life. Deku is also amazed by Uraraka, as is Momo. Momo then asks if she can give out any money to help her family, but Uraraka wants to find her own way to get money and would feel wrong getting a handout from a friend. Momo understands this, and Deku will get to training. He trains with All Might, Mirio, and Night Eye, and is getting stronger, of course. Deku definitely wants to win, especially since Night Eye says that if he does well enough to his liking, Deku can join his agency for an internship. Deku is pretty happy about this, though he has to make sure that he does well. Later on after school, Deku and Ochako are walking with each other. It is a couple days before the sports festival and the last day of school for the week. Deku then says, I can't wait to fight in the sports festival, it should be awesome. Ochako smiles and says, I have confidence you will do really well, Deku. Deku says, same to you, Ochako. Deku and Ochako have been getting closer and closer to each other over the past couple weeks. There's just something about this that feels right. Deku and Ochako look at each other in the eyes. Deku in this space wonders if Ochako likes him. What does he do with girls like Kendo and Momo? However, those thoughts are getting stopped by what is in front of him right now. Deku and Ochako's faces get closer to each other. They inch closer, 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 and closer. Until... Hello, my friends! Ida once again ruins another moment. Ida says, we're getting closer to the sports festival as it is in a couple days. Well, today is the last day of school for a week. So I wish you both good luck. Deku and Ochako wish Ida luck as well, but they are both kind of mad because, you know. As Deku and Ochako separate, Ochako runs into Momo, and Momo talks to Ochako about some things. Let's just say they have some things in common. Liking Deku, and of course getting blocked by Ida. They also feel that there could be another girl that Deku likes, and they think it might be Kendo since Deku and all of them hang out with her as well. So they'll wait for Kendo to be Ida blocked, and will come up with a plan to confront Deku about this, and see how he will respond. Yeah, that should be fun. Anyways, it is the day of the sports festival. Deku and company are ready for a day of trying to go up against everybody else, in hopes of trying to get some internships. Todoroki and Bakugo will still want to fight Deku, though Todoroki is more into fighting Deku because of how strong he seems, and how well he did against villains, and Bakugo for obvious reasons. Deku will be the one who delivers the speech since he scored the highest in the actual entrance exam, and he will say, my fellow classmates of UA, I hope we can all succeed today as we work to prove ourselves to other heroes, and show them what we can do. But no matter what, try your best and lay everything out on the line. Are you ready for this, UA? The class is cheer, and Deku congratulated for his great speech. Deku and all the other contestants get ready, everyone starts, and Deku grabs a new piece of metal in his pocket. Todoroki tries to take out the competition via his ice, however a flashlight comes out, and someone smashes the ice, as it is Deku in a titanium form. So, yeah, how do you get titanium? Well, Night Eye kinda got it for Deku during his training, and Deku was very excited to use it during the sports festival. Deku is running right now and is able to have some good speed on him at the moment, although it's a bit difficult to catch up with Todoroki, but he's doing his best. It is right now going to be a battle between Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki. Deku and company are able to get to the last lap of the race, like in canon, and then Deku will use the same tactics like in canon to get into first place, as in the mine thing, though this time, unlike original canon, he uses his fist to smash the mine in its titanium form, goes up and over, rolls a bit, and then speeds back up, taking lead over Bakugo and Todoroki. Deku end up winning the race like in canon, and that allows them all to move on to the next round. The every battle will still happen, and Deku will be in the same bind he was like in canon because he was first in the race. Momo will be on Sho's team like in canon as she wants to compete against Deku, kind of like I's reasoning in the original series. Let's just say Ochako will still be with Deku, and so will Mei. And then throughout the cavalry battle, she'll wonder if she wants to either kill Mei or if she wants to invite her into the Fane. The cavalry battle will play out the same with the same teams getting in. However, this time Deku and his team will move up a spot, up to third, because Deku is a bit more improved, though he doesn't necessarily want to try out Mei's babies to fuse with because he likes his titanium. So the sports festival will be around the same up until this point in terms of matchups. Deku will fight Shinso like in canon, a student from 1B. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. Deku will be warned ahead of time, and Deku will actually heed the warning. His martial arts and training has taught him to be disciplined, so when Shinso tries to make Deku talk, Deku just smacks him out the ring in his metal form. He decided to downgrade for his match a bit, but it's still effective. Every match will remain the same in terms of result, but the difference is the aftermath. When Momo loses to Tokiyami, Deku comforts her after the match and tells her she did great, which does lift her up a bit. When Chaka loses her match, Deku does the same thing. Both girls are trying to love Deku more and more, though at certain points, Deku is interrupted by a certain boy with glasses. Yeah, Ida. So, yeah. Deku will later be approached by Endeavor with the same stuff about maybe he can be the guy to get his son to use his fire side, though I don't know if Deku can relate to that as much as he did in Original Canon since he was born for Quirk and still uses it, but then again, maybe he can because he finds it weird that someone isn't really using their quirk. And then will of course be approached by Todoroki, and he says he will beat Deku. Deku is ready to fight, and then of course Deku and Todoroki will meet in the arena. Deku is of course being cheered on by his friends and his potential girls. Deku and Todoroki will wait for a signal to fight, and then the fight begins. Todoroki fires off his ice while Deku fuses with his titanium, and then both will begin their match. Who will win in this battle? Unlike in the original canon, will it be Deku or Todoroki? Find out in the next part. Thank you all for watching part 3 of What If Deku Had a Fusion Quirk. The series has probably had the best pacing I've ever had for MHA What If actually probably ever, and the series is definitely interesting. Once again, make sure to watch my community tab like a hawk from Minor there. Ready for this week, it will be hype. Follow me on Twitter for no way to get notified my videos, Instagram for memes, our stuff, and of course, join my Discord server for notifications when I live stream ahead of time, access to some venture content, and of course, you guys get to suggest to me ideas directly. These are also great ways for you guys to interact with me, so follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and of course, join my Discord server. Once again, thank you guys so much for 8K. Let's get to 9K. And also, once again, thank you guys for the support on the series again, because this series is about to hit 20K views soon, which is pretty crazy, as this will be my first MHA What If, and I believe my third video to hit 20K, or fourth, depending on how the Kakashi Naruto What If does. So thank you guys so much for the support lately, and that is all I have to say. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and share the video. This has been your boy, the Anime Sage, signing out. Peace. YEEHAW, Stephanie Shea, closes out. Bye-bye. Peace.
Hi, this is Stephanie Shea, voice actress for Sailor Moon, Hinata, Orihime, and you are watching Anime Sage.